is set in real places, in Oslo, in Bergen. Thomas Alfredson said, I will do this project, but I need to do it in Scandinavia, where it's set and written.
I think it always was a priority for Thomas, and because it's intrinsic to the story, it was for the writer. There's a reason that he's put the story of the Snowman here. He's done a lot of the work for you. Why try and change it?
Cut. Beautiful. Thank you.
The Norwegian landscape is something I wanted to have as almost like a character of its own in the film. It's never dull or not interesting. It's always there, present. So I wanted to bring that to the film too.
Today we're in Molde, which is on the west coast of Norway, and we're in a place called the Atlantic Road, and it's a very dramatic bit of road.
We have an opening and closing sequence which are pretty spectacular, and Thomas always said, I would like to shoot up in Atlantic Road. The one thing one needs to know about Atlantic Road, which is the first thing I know about Atlantic Road, which is it's where all the car commercials are set. Everybody who makes a car commercial at some point goes up to Atlantic Road because it's the most unbelievably convoluted road.
We're filming with something called a Russian arm, which is a big crane that's attached to the top of a Mercedes-Benz, and it allows you to race up and down, get nice car shots. Cars drive up a very extreme angle on a bridge that curves round and things like that, so it just looks fantastic. The second unit is a lot of boy racer stuff. It's all the sort of stuff where you have all the big equipment and get to do all the fun shots, and it's the bit that when the main unit get to see it, they're always a bit jealous because you get to play with all the toys.
The snow is so key, obviously, just visually. Places like Bergen and Rjukan, they're beautiful, you know, so you're going there for the scenery in the mountains.
We are 5 kilometers away from Rjukan city, up in 850 meters above sea level, a place called Vemork. And I'm the power plant manager of the power plants here in this valley.
We're going to talk about our lovely circular structure today.
We need to inform you what's the issues due to safety when you're in the chamber.
It's equivalent to 140,000 pints per second if they have to open out the valves. That's quite a lot of water coming through. It makes a horrendous noise. It lasts for 1 minute. They're shutting down 5 power plants all through Rjukan, so it's a major thing. We have it shut down from 11 till 2. 2 o'clock, it's over.
We were looking for an island with a hut for one of the storylines, and we were brought to this island, and when we came across this, we thought this is the perfect hut for the story.
It's stunning. It's hard to get to, but as you can see, it's an amazing piece of Norway.
It's an absolutely beautiful place, and I had expected it would be all about the permissions to be able to walk over all of this and be in this area. But actually that was quite easy. People really understood that we wanted to be here, and they gave us permission immediately. It wasn't too difficult.
A bit quicker.
When we came, it was fairly benign because it was March and it seemed quite easy at the time. But since then, it's been, 30 humpers to bring all the equipment. 3/4 of our crew have actually walked for 40 minutes to get here. Most of the equipment have come by helicopter. The actors have been helicoptered in. It's been quite a practical challenge.
We're now starting our move out of here. So basically, equipment-wise, we've got an empty container there. I'm going to bring another container. We've got all our lovely humpers to help with any equipment that has to go with us.
It's quite inaccessible. Getting gear in, getting people in, and the fact that you're so exposed to the weather was the big fear and the big challenge.
On days like this, people are so up for the challenge. This is why we became filmmakers.
It has been really challenging. We have had experiences of shooting in -17. complete whiteouts up a mountain for 2 days. But we have actually achieved some extraordinary, exquisite landscapes. To be able to do that is just really extraordinary. The Norwegians, the city of Oslo, the city of Bergen have made it so easy for us.
The backup we had in Oslo was fantastic, coming down to blocking streets and giving us parking space, and they were really, really supportive.
I find the environment equally as important as the characters to be able to tell their story. I'm so happy that we are shooting here.
The contrast between nice and still little Oslo and this very, very dramatic landscapes with the high mountains and everything, I think that works very well with this movie.
It's a very rich film in terms of the visual experience, that's for sure. We're looking into disappearances, some recent, others dating back several years.
What do you need?
Small team. The casting is fantastic. Each person is very different to the next. Everybody's got their own rhythm and personality and color, which is exactly what you want, especially for a thriller.
He's playing games.
It's just so enjoyable to see all these high-profile names on a list and actually seeing them in person as well. It's quite mind-blowing.
Something that Thomas does brilliantly is cast for the specific roles. If you put all these characters in front of sort of a light, everyone has their own silhouette. Everyone has their own character, their way of standing, their way of walking, their height. Everyone, you can pick them out.
Harry Hull.
Harry Hull is a laconic and very gifted policeman. From the very beginning, you know, we had Michael in mind for this role.
Harry's very sensitive and very vulnerable, which makes him much more interesting than a hard-boiled officer. The reason why Thomas really wanted to have Michael is partly because of that he is vulnerable and can show sort of deeper and inner emotions with his enormous acting ability.
He's very naked in what he does. The lack of vanity you could see in his work. He's very open-minded to stuff, even though his intuition is to say no.
Ellie Quayle, tell me.
Michael is very real. His way of discussing scenes with Thomas, his way of finding his character, it feels authentic.
Right, here we go.
He's so interested in making the best out of every scene all the time. I'm learning so much about acting and the work and the process just by watching him.
I'm Katrina Bratt.
Harry Hull.
I know who you are. We actually studied your cases at the academy.
I didn't know they date back that far.
Rebecca Ferguson, who's the first actor we offered the role to. And when they met and talked about this role, it was very clear to Thomas how much Rebecca wanted to do this, and I think Thomas felt, without a doubt, that this is an actor that he wanted.
Are you, Dion?
She's great. She's good fun and sort of easygoing, so that's a really nice mix. She is very passionate about acting. You can see that, you know, she really cares about it, and so it lends very nicely to her character.
Two persons taken to be here while the camera is here, so we get a bit closer into his eye line. And
she is a very passionate actress. She's Swedish too, which is, you know, we have our secret language, which I couldn't share with the English-speaking actors, so to say. But it's been fantastic to work with her.
cut.
What's lovely is to sit with Michael and Thomas, and you laugh, and you have coffee or tea, and you discuss the scene, or you're in detail sort of walking through.
Watching Michael and Rebecca inhabit these characters and watching that relationship between them develop is a big part of what'll make this movie interesting.
It's down to chemistry, you know. Sometimes you just have a chemistry with somebody, and that's something you can never really plan for, or it's something that, you know, it's there, it's not. And we've definitely got a very good chemistry.
I miss you. Charlotte Gainsbourg is just such an ideal actor for that particular role. She's totally gorgeous. She's totally original. She's a very graceful actress, and I think the triangle of her, Rebecca, and Michael works tremendously well. I mean, why would you ever stop being in love with Charlotte Gainsbourg?
It seemed as soon as we started working together that we had a past and a future. And that's always great in storytelling, when we're coming from somewhere and hopefully we're going somewhere, you know, where when a film ends, you imagine the characters continuing.
It isn't just the letter. He reported her missing before he killed her.
We've got actors of enormous quality for tiny, tiny little roles. And I think they have all done it because they want to work with Thomas Alfredson, because of the script, and because of the existing material.
I believe in my heart. Tonight, Oslo has already won.
JK as Artist Group. It's just exciting. He throws himself into the role and out of it very easily. I now cannot see anyone else.
I got to work with Val Kilmer and loved that Thomas cast him as Rafto. I think he's one of our greats, and any film is going to be enriched by his presence.
Sorry I'm late, honey.
It's great to see so many Scandinavian actors getting an opportunity to work in an English-speaking film like this.
Action!
Thomas said from the beginning, I want Jonas in this film, and I can completely see why.
Jonas has put so many different colors and shades into him. We've done all of our scenes now together. The nuance that he uses, the rhythms, the inflection. It's been a lot of fun watching him.
I know why you blame her.
Sophia Eileen, we've got her for an incredibly small part, incredibly small but incredibly meaningful part. We offered her this part, and she just, without question, just immediately said yes, of course. And it's fantastic.
Of course I want to work with Thomas again. Even if I was to be an extra in his film, I would say yes. He's so passionate about telling stories and watching humans, what we are doing to each other and to ourselves.
Thomas has been on my favorite director lists since I've sort of got into film. I can't believe I'm doing this with him. And seeing him in action, seeing him work, it's heaven.
It's you approaching here and you turning up in the background.
It's a very free-flowing, loose experience, but it's also very precise.
A bit closer to your face.
We spend time talking about the scene. Each of us has an opportunity to put some color or shading in the scene or the characters. So we've worked very closely together.
It's really easy when you're on set just to see the amount of detail that he will go into to make sure everything is right. And I think that is why he is such a renowned artist almost, because, you know, he looks at the fine details.
When you have a director who is just phenomenally brilliant, it doesn't matter the size of role, because you know that you will be able to create something wonderful.
Beautiful. Thank you.